Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I have in here is the Surge 2, developed by Deck 13, the same developers of the first The Surge, and also Lords of the Fallen. So they are using their in-house technology called Flash Engine. Flash Engine have been used throughout their other games like the first The Surge and Lords of the Fallen. It's an engine that they created themselves, and actually in this title it is Vulkan only. So if your graphic card doesn't support Vulkan, then you can't simply run this game. So that's probably an issue for some of the people. So yeah, probably if your graphic card supports DirectX 12, it will support Vulkan. Although this might be bad news for some users. For example, NVIDIA users with Kepler architecture or Maxwell might see this game to become a little bit more demanding than the usual, since Vulkan only performs really well in newer generation graphic cards. Even my HD 7850 suffers a little bit with that. So let's take a look on the settings. So I'm pretty much using the median preset, but I made some adjustments, like I enabled TAA and I enabled ambient occlusion. So the median default preset, it uses 80% of resolution scaling, which should be equivalent to something like 800 per 600p, which is below the 900p. I know, it's bad. Although the game minimum requirements, they ask for an FX 8320, so we are below this easily. 8 gigs of RAM and an AMD Radeon R9 280. So we are completely below the minimum requirements. No questions asked, it is visible in here. And yet, with the low settings, I was able to get an average of 51 with a 1% low of 41, which, in my opinion, just don't use low settings. It looks absolutely horrible. The median settings provide me an average of 38 with a 1% low of 32, and my custom settings, which is basically the median settings with TAA and ambient occlusion, what I got was an average of 35 and with a 1% low of 30. The eye settings, it was pretty much below 30 frames per second, so just avoid it, despite it looks so much better. And the eye settings was tested, with the median textures, because if you want to play with the eye textures, you will need 4 GB graphic card like the R7 374 gigs of version. But still, even if you have those 4 gigs of VRAM where you can use textures on eye, you can't simply use the rest of the settings on eye, because you won't be able to have a performance above 30 frames per second. So what is so special about the Surge? I mean, the Surge is pretty much like a Dark Souls game, yet I think it doesn't feature any multiplayer component, so I think it should be a very big letdown for a lot of Dark Souls players. But this game brings something to the table which is unique, and this is something that was created on the first The Surge. Lords of the Fallen, the first game that they created, some sort of Souls game, it was very similar to Dark Souls without multiplayer, so yeah, it was on an old and ancient and fantasy type. And the Surge started something different. They changed the time where it takes place, so right now it is a future, and they implemented something on the first game which is also present on the second game, which is, in order to craft your own weapons, for example, you need to get items, and to get those items, you need to dismember the correct members, or the members that have those items of the enemy. So yeah, if you need something that's like a weapon, you need to cut off the arm, for example the right arm where the enemy have that weapon. If you like some piece of armor that guy have on the leg, you need to cut his leg to get that piece of inventory. So this is something that was available already on the first Surge, but now we have again a new The Surge, and it seems very interesting. Although not all the people are very satisfied with the game, claiming that the game it is bad optimized, and yes, it is a little bit bad optimized, mostly because old graphic cards doesn't perform very well with Vulkan. I believe that if they made available a DirectX 11 version of this game, it would be probably running much better on these old graphic cards. But for example, if you have a new NVIDIA GTX 16 series or an RTX 2000, which supports very well Vulkan, and you can actually notice that in Wolfenstein, where those graphic cards perform really well with Vulkan, The Surge 2, it is pretty much the same. It uses Vulkan, and all those NVIDIAs, all those recent NVIDIAs, no matter if they are weaker or not, even the 1650 performs greatly in this game, even comparing with much more powerful graphic cards from the old generation. So yeah, it is mostly because of Vulkan. So AMD RX series, for example, the RX 460, 470, all the Polaris series, for example, from, or something better like the Navi, or I don't know, even the Vegas, perform really well in this game because the game supports Vulkan, and those graphic cards really perform very well while using Vulkan. So I don't have too much more to talk about this game. All I can say is you can get this game from Steam for $49.99. It's a typical launch price. 70% of the users are satisfied with the game. Most of the complaints are the optimizations. The second thing that I can say is that you can get it even cheaper if you want throughout other stores, like for example Greenman Gaming, GameBoard. All these stores are completely official, and you won't be having any issue like if you were buying like Green Game from Kinguin or G2A. It's not like that. All these shops that I'm listing in here, GameBoard and Greenman Gaming, are completely official stores. And if you want to get the cheapest price ever through a legit store, just check the link on the description of the video. That is their website called Is There Any Deal. It only lists official web stores where you can get the game and later activate the game on Steam for a much better price than actually on Steam. Alright, so guys, thank you a lot for watching. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, which is, well, 30 seconds. And I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.